Hello guys, and welcome to another dope video where we're going to be continuing with our series of videos where I'm teaching you guys from A to Z on how to create your own Forex robot. On our previous videos on this particular series, we already spoke about the 3 or the 4 most important steps when it comes to developing and using a Forex robot that will allow you to make money. We have 4 different steps. The first step we have is what we call idea generation or product research. After that, you go to what we call the development stage, where you actually develop the robot. And after the development stage, you go to what we call the testing phase. You actually test the robot to see if the parameters are even performing the way you wanted it to perform. And after testing the parameters, you go to the last stage, which is the back testing phase. Talking about the idea generation, product research, the development and the testing phase, I have already produced 2 different videos explaining the same steps, all right? So if you haven't watched the 2 videos on this particular series, then please just stop at this point in time and make sure you watch the 2 videos which I have already published, or click the link above to watch those 2 videos, the video number 1 or the part 1 and the part 2 of the video before you are watching the part 3 of the video. So on the part 3 of the video, we're going to be talking about the back testing of that particular robot. We've been able to come up with our idea. We've been able to put that idea into an algorithm or into an EA or into a robot. We've tested to see that that idea is performing very well. How can we backtest? All right. So on today's video, we're going to be doing step by step on how to backtest any Forex robot. The advantages of backtesting a Forex robot is that it enables you to see if that robot will be able to perform the same or perform similarly in a live market condition. Before you put it in your live account and you blow your account, backtesting will enable you to see if the parameters can even perform well in a live market condition. So let's go straight into the video. What is backtesting? All right, what is backtesting? Backtesting is just a process. It's just a simulation. It's just a simulation of the parameters of a particular robot on historical data. All right, it's just a simulation of the parameters of a robot on historical data to see how that robot can perform in the future, or to see how that robot can perform in a live account. So that is just the meaning of backtesting. You're actually using historical data on your MT5 or on your MT4 on your trading platform to backtest, to do backtesting, to see how that robot would have performed in the past, to also ascertain how it will be able to perform in the future, to see how it performed in a demo account, to also ascertain how it will perform in a live account. So that is just the definition of backtesting, what Forex backtesting stands for. Then as a disclaimer, let me make this very, very clear, all right? Backtesting doesn't mean you've already covered everything about that particular robot and that particular robot is guaranteed 100% to make you profit. No. In Forex trading, just like in robotic trading, there are still going to be some factors that are going to be totally against your control, right? There's still going to be factors which unforeseen factors which you can't see those factors, which are still going to come from time to time or come into your robot to alter your result. But backtesting is going to give you almost about 95 to 99% of the efficacy or of the effectiveness of your robot, so that you can then start using it on a live account. So backtesting is not foolproof. Don't say, okay, I already backtested my Forex robot and now I can use it on a live. No, backtesting is just 99%. There's always going to be that 1%. That is with that 1% that covers the unforeseen circumstances or the unforeseen factors like natural economic factors which you can't have any control over. All right, good. And then another disclaimer which I want to also cover up very, very clearly. When it comes to Forex robot, don't trust anyone, all right? Don't trust anyone when it comes to Forex robot, even yourself. Don't trust even yourself. Because a Forex robot that is working today, they can, if you don't know what you are doing, if you don't know how to put all the factors in place, and even if your computer just crashes at a point in time, even if there's a crash on your computer or your internet there's a failure on your internet or something happens drastically, it can have an effect on the robot which you are using. Remember, a robot doesn't care how much you have in your account. The robot doesn't care who you are. The robot doesn't care whether you are rich or poor. The robot does exactly what you program that robot to do. So you need to be very, very careful, because these factors can come into play, and if you don't know what you are doing, a robot can instead be one of those tools that will cause you to just forget about Forex trading. So that is a disclaimer I'm telling you guys. You need to be able to know what you are doing. Talking about knowing what you are doing, I've spoken to you guys about VPS, the importance of VPS, how to install a VPS, and how you can use a VPS. Another disclaimer which I also want to throw it out there is, no past results can guarantee future successes in Forex trading. Let me not even talk about robots, right? No past results can guarantee future successes in robotic trading. So even though you've already done your back testing and you've seen that the robot is performing, or the robot would have performed very well in the past, there is no guarantee the robot is going to perform the same from today going ahead, or the robot is going to perform the same in the future. Or if you have done it, demo tested it and see that it is performing very well on the demo, there is no guarantee that it is going to perform very well on a live account. So past results don't guarantee future successes in robotic trading and in Forex trading. I personally like this point, and I wanted to throw it out there. Okay, so now that we've gotten our disclaimer out of the way and you already know what to do, you already know the risks involved, now let's go into backtesting and be able to do this and get over it. All right, so good. So how do you backtest a Forex robot? There are some basic steps which you need to follow. Let's go into the actual process, which is how do you test a Forex robot? There are various factors which come into play when you want to test a Forex robot, but you need to be able to have at the back of your mind what you are actually testing. All right. For example, on my list, what we'll actually be testing on our Forex robot is we'll be testing what we call stress testing. Stress testing, you just try to put the parameters in very harsh market conditions to see if that particular robot would have survived, or to see how that particular robot would have survived in that particular market condition. So that one is called stress testing. Another point is testing in different environments. So if you are testing during news, you can still test it when there is no news. You can still test it when the market is not volatile. You can still test it when the market is quiet. So that is testing the Forex robot in different market conditions. Then testing the Forex robot again, we're still going to be able to test our Forex robot in terms of different currency pairs. So testing the Forex robot with different currency pairs is something which we also have to do on today's video when testing our robot. Then testing the Forex robot on different time frame. So we're going to test our robot on 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame, 1-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame, the 30-minute time frame, and so on, to see which time frame is the optimum time frame or the optimal time frame for our robot to perform very well. So we're still going to use we're still going to be able to test our Forex robot on different time frames. We're still going to be able to test our Forex robot on different volumes. Different volume just stands for testing our Forex robot with different lot sizes. So if we're using one lot size to test that particular robot, then on another testing or on another phase, we're going to be able to use maybe 2 lot size, or maybe a mini lot size, micro lot size. So we're going to be able to also test the Forex robot on different lot sizes, which is also on different volumes. So okay, since we've already known what we're actually going to be testing, let's go into the actual process of testing a Forex robot. And before you even test a particular Forex robot, some of you guys don't even know how to install a Forex robot on MT5 or MT4. So to install a Forex robot on MT5 or MT4, the process is very, very simple. Normally, I'm going to send you guys, even if you're not taking the robot from me or you're just taking from someone, you obviously have the robot in the file. All right, the file will look like this. Let me just go on my computer and I show you guys an example of a Forex robot, of any Forex robot. Even the people on my Patreon, I'm going to be able to give them some of my robot for them to test it out. So they'll obviously have it in this particular file format. Okay, I have Forex robot right here. So if I go inside here and I open Forex robot, you can see all these files you are seeing here: Godlove Sniper, Godlove Robot, Godlove Sniper, Godlove Sniper Pro, Godlove Profitable, Patrex. These are all robots and they are just in this particular file format. All right. So this is all about the robot. The robot is not even up to 1 megabyte. It's just a small file. When the programmer programs the robot, they give you the robot in a very small file. So what you do is you come here and you unzip, or normally they will send the robot to you in a zip folder. So you make sure you unzip that folder, and when you unzip that folder, you'll be able to have the robot like this, all right? So after unzipping the folder, you just click on the folder on the robot, and you just carry the robot. You just copy the robot. You come back to MT5, and this is how you install a robot on MT5 or MT4. You go to File. You come down to where it says Open Data Folder. All right. You go to where it says Open Data Folder. Just wait for it to open. Good. Then after opening data folder, go to where it says MQL5. You double click on MQL5. Then inside MQL5, look for where it says expert. You double click on expert. And boom, these are all your experts. All right, you can see I have more than 8 different Forex robots here. These are robots that I'm using on a daily basis. You can see even Petrex Pro. Petrex Pro is right there, which is the robot we're going to be testing today. And this is the robot we've been creating from scratch. We started creating this robot from scratch. We did the research from scratch, and today we're going to be doing the back testing of the same particular robot. So you just come inside here, you just right click and you click on paste. That's all. When you paste the robot inside this particular folder, you can then close the folder. Then you come on your navigator. Make sure you have your navigator on. You come on your navigator, you just click where you see Forex robot, and you go to where it says refresh. So you just click on refresh, and boom, it's just going to refresh, and the robot is going to be showing here. All right. Or if you don't want to refresh, you can just close your MT5 and open it again, and it's going to automatically refresh, and you'll be able to see all your Forex robot here. Boom, we've already gotten that out of the way. Now we know how to install a Forex robot. These strategies or these steps are going to apply whether you are using a robot from me or a robot from any other person on the internet. The same steps, the same procedure. Now we've known how to install a Forex robot on MT5. Let's go to back testing of that particular robot. To back test any particular robot, this is our robot of today. I still need to change the name. I think is our normal robot is Petrex Pro. So under our normal robot, you can just right click on that particular robot, and you go to where it says test. All right, because you want to test that particular robot. So you can just right click on the robot. This robot is either Petrex Pro or Godlove Bull robot. It's the same thing. The name is the same. So this is the same robot I'm going to be giving to the people on my Patreon community. The same robot we created from scratch. Even though I've been using this robot for a couple of years now, but I wanted to recreate it from scratch so that you guys could see the steps on how to create any particular Forex robot. So you just come here and you click on test. All right. When you click on test, it's going to open strategy, what they call strategy tester. Then on strategy tester, that is where you're going to be able to put in all the parameters that you'll be using to test that particular robot. So since the robot is a little bit heavy, let's see. So once you already click on test, it's going to open this page. You can see that is the robot right there. This is where you choose the particular robot you want to test. Good. So here, you can choose the interface you want to be able. So now what I just want you to focus, you can either use single. Single is where you just want the results to be displayed. So let me explain this interface. So this is the interface where you use to test your particular robot. Single testing is where you just want the results to be displayed on your computer. You don't want to go through the hassle of seeing the chart going up and down, doing it one way. You just want the results to be displayed, right? So that one is single testing, single delay testing. Then you go under indicator. We don't have indicators inside our robot, so that one is not even important. Then you go under visualize. Just as it says visualize, you want to actually see the market opening and closing those trades. That is why it is called visualize. Then stress and delay. This one is maybe you want to test maybe 10 years of data, 20 years of data, 5 years of data. Then you even start talking about stress and delay. The most important two factors or two phases of testing that I want you guys to focus at this point in time is the single testing and the visualized testing. Simple, right? So don't even worry yourself when it comes to any other one. So let's start with visualize, because we want to actually see our robot opening and closing trade. So let's click on visualize. Here you can see we have the name of the robot. Make sure here you choose the name of the robot. you come down the symbol. Which currency pair do we want to test? I want us to test this particular currency pair, because remember, with Petrex Pro, the idea behind Petrex, remember the robot we are testing here is Petrex Pro, right? It's Petrex, the same one we created. And the idea behind that robot, if you haven't watched the last 2 videos, please go back and watch those last 2 videos so that you can understand very well what is going on. So the idea behind the robot is, once we've already gone to the higher time frame and determine our original trend, so we need to go to the higher time frame, we determine our trend. After determining our trend, we also determine our support and resistance on the higher time frame. Then we step down to the lower time frame, and if the market is on our resistance, we're going to be able to sell, and if the market is on our support, we're going to be buying from the support. And buying from the support or selling from the resistance is not going to be done by us again, it's going to be done by the robot. The only work we need to do at this point in time is to do the research, do the analysis, determine the trend, and to determine what I call the mega or the killer support and resistance. The killer support and resistance is where we're going to place our robot and assume that the robot is going to be buying continuously going upward if it is on a support, or is going to be selling continuously coming down if it is on a resistance. That is the idea behind the robot. So let's use this particular currency pair, which is the market is almost midnight here. So I want to use a currency pair that still has volatility. That is why I want us to use Great Britain Pound JPY. All right. On Great Britain Pound JPY, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, you can see here, not even wasting time, you can see a clear trend. We had a clear trend somewhere here. Can you see this? We had our clear trend somewhere right from the 17th of December. We had a clear trend, a clear uptrend somewhere, and the trend was broken. The trend was broken somewhere here. So just from I think the 17, or we can even start testing from the 15, or let's just take it from the 17, right? I think we had from the 15, 17. Good. We can even start testing from the 17. So right from the 17th or from the 20th of this is December. Right from the 20th of December to present, the Great Britain Pound JPY has been in an uptrend. Good. So since it has been in an uptrend, we also determined that we had our support here, and we had our support. Let me put it here. We had our support somewhere here. Support. And up here we had our resistance somewhere here. Good. So knowing that, okay, we had our support here and we had our resistance here. If we have to step down to the lower time frame and bring in our robot at this point in time, it means we are telling the robot that, okay, at the close of every bullish candle, since we are expecting the market to go up, at the close of every bullish candle, I want you to place a trade. At the end, or at the close of every bullish candle, I want you to place the trade until we reach at our particular resistance, all right? And if I have to place it on a 4-hour time frame, remember, we're going to be able to have very few candles. That is why you step down to the lower time frame. Since on the lower time frame, the robot is candlestick dependent. So if you place it on a 5-minute time frame, it's going to be opening trades after every 5 minutes. If you place it on a 1-minute time frame, it's going to be opening trade after every 1 minute. All right, good. So with that, depending on how you can be able to manage the craziness, because if you put on a 1-minute time frame, obviously many trades will be open, and you need to know how the lot size to use on those trades, the leverage to use, where to get in and where to get out. So you need to be able, that is why backtesting come into play, so that we can look for the optimal settings of our parameters. All right, good. We already have our trend, and we know that, okay, we want to get into the market at this point. We want to put our robot at this point and want the robot to be buying. So now we can either use the 1-minute time frame or the 5-minute time frame. Most of my trading, even this particular account, I took this demo account from around $60,000 to $500,000. All right, when we were creating the robot, when we were just on the testing phase. Now on the backtesting phase, we're still using the same account. All right, so good. We want to enter at this point, and from this point is from the 20th to want to test from the 20th to maybe the 6th, from the 20th to the 6th of January. So I want us to test within that time period and use different volumes, different lot sizes, test with different time frames to see how the robot would have performed. All right. So now in your own free time, you can then test different time frames. You can then test different currency pairs. You can test even 1 year of data, 10 years. So the limit, the testing has no boundaries. You can play around with the parameters to look for which one will be suitable for your trading. So with this one, I want us to test from the 20th of December to the 6th of January with Great Britain Pound JPY. So I come here, I need to go here on Forex. I think it is on Forex. Then it is on minus because it's Great Britain Pound JPY. Great Britain Pound JPY should be on minor, I guess. Yes, here we have Great Britain Pound JPY. So always check here to confirm. Then I want us to check the 5-minute time frame first. So the 5-minute time frame is already there. Good. We just put the 5-minute time frame. Then date. I want us to test from 2021. Sorry, from the 20th of December 2021. Good. 20th December is right here. So you're just going to use this calendar to select the date to 6th of January. The 6th of January should be somewhere. January, the 6th of January is here. So that is our time frame. That is almost about 3 weeks of data I want us to test to see how the robot will perform. Good. Now I want zero latency and I want ID execution. So here you can still choose most of this, but most of the time just put it on zero latency because our broker, my broker that I use has zero latency. We don't want to use any broker that is having latency, right? So make sure you just select zero latency. And if you want to use the same broker I use, check the link on the video description and you'll be able to use the same broker I use, which is having zero latency. So just put it on zero latency or ID execution. That is all. That is all. And then let me make sure I put it there. I want all the parameters to be good. Then account balance. Let's just assume we have. Let's just assume we have how much? $5,000. $5,000 on our account because many people can afford to start with that. Or after, we're still going to try now with $1,000 to see. Good. We've already had all the parameters. And then our leverage. Our broker is offering us a leverage of 1:500. My broker offers me that particular leverage, and you need a broker of a leverage of at least 1:500 if you want to even use this particular strategy. You need a broker of a leverage of at least 1:500. So check the link below to use my broker. Good. Then you come down to that is the settings of the robot, right? Now let's go to the input. This is where we have all our parameters. This is where we have all the parameters. Remember from our research, what do we want to do? We want to only be buying, right? Let's put it on the 5-minute time frame. Let's put a chart on the 5-minute time frame. And this is we want to start, where do we say? It's from the 20th of December, right? From the 20th of December, you can see this is the box. The box is right here. I can see the box right here. Good. That is the box right there. That is the 20th of December. We're starting from here. Remember, this is the lower time frame. That is why you can see many candles. We've already determined our trend from the upper or from the higher time frame. Now, from our analysis, we already analyzed and concluded that we are presuming or we are predicting that the market is going to be buying. The market is going to be going up, right? So we want to only be buying. That's why here I need to select buy only. If we were on a resistance, then here instead of selecting buy only, I would have selected what? Sell only. That is why here I select buy only. Then let's go down to magic stop loss. Magic stop loss is a level where I want to tell the robot that, okay, if you get to this particular level and the market is not going my way, I want you to close our position. Magic take profit is a level I'm telling the broker, the robot, if you get to this particular level and I'm going to be satisfied with whatsoever profit which you make at this particular level. I'm just going to leave that one at 0 and at 0 because this is still the testing phase and I want the robot to still be open. Good. Then lot size. For a $5,000 account, I recommend you use a 0.05. All right, I'm going to tell you guys why I'm saying this at the conclusion of the backtesting. So since it's a robot I've been using before and I've tested different volumes, to save us time, the best and the optimum volume you can use for this kind of robot, if you're using a $5,000 account, make sure you use, instead of using 0.5, because remember, normally, according to the ID industrial standard, normally if you're having a $5,000 account, you are supposed to use 0.5, right? But now this robot, we're going to be opening hundred of trades. So we instead step down again. So whatsoever account, for you to determine the optimum lot size to use, divide whatsoever account balance you have by 100,000 units. Because remember, a standard lot is 100,000 units of the base currency. So based on whatsoever account size you have, divide it by 1,000 units or 1,000 units of that particular base currency. So if so our account balance is $5,000, right? If I divide $5,000 by 100 units, I'm going to be having what? 0.05. So whatsoever account balance you have, divide it by 1,000. Or even if you don't want to divide by 1,000, you can experiment. You can use higher lot sizes, lower. So you try to see which one is optimal. But I'm just telling you guys which one has been optimal for me and what I've been using. Sometimes when I used to divide by 1,000, I can then multiply by 2. So instead of using 0.05, I can use now 0.05 times 2. I can use 0.1. All right. So I used to use that on some situations where I know that the trend is going to be very strong. So it just depends. But now let's use 0.0. Let's use 0.1. Let's use let's use 0.05. Right? Let's use a very low. Then stop loss. We don't want to put any stop loss. We're not putting any take profit because remember the robot. We have a particular level where we're targeting. Then maximum spread. This is where you put. I'm going to put 5 pips. 50 points stands for 5 pips. So I'm telling the robot that, okay, if at any point in time, the spreads are more than 5 pips, please don't open a trade. Because if you don't put this parameter in your robot, there are going to be maybe sometime in the night where the spreads are very crazy, and your robot is going to open a trade where maybe the spreads are 50 pips. You see, that can actually blow your entire account. So you always know, even if you are using a Forex robot, always check to see if that Forex robot is having a spread filter. All right. So that is our spread filter and it's on 5 pips. Then here we can put a time. I want the robot to work from midnight, from 00 to maybe 10 p.m. That's why I just put 22:30. So I want the robot to work at that time. Then all these other things, I want the robot to work on Monday. I can put through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I want those days. If I don't want it to work on any of these days, I'll just come here and I change it to false. But I want the robot to work on all of those days. So now that is our input. Our input is already set up. Now let's go on agent. Our agent is set up. We are using our Intel core. And that is that, guys. That is that. And what do? You just go back to, let me go back to settings. Our setting is already set. And what do? You just click on start. That's all. You just click on start and you wait for it to load. You can see it's actually loading. It's actually loading. So very soon it's going to pop up another screen and you actually start seeing the robot testing. So let's just wait for another screen to pop up and I'll be able to show you guys what I'm saying. You can see it's actually loading, so we just have to wait for it to load. Then you can always go on graph. Guys, you can see the robot is already back testing. The robot is already testing. I think another screen was supposed to be showing. Let me check to see. Okay, it's fine. Let me actually choose the single. So the robot is already back testing. You can see the time is running here, meaning the robot is already performing everything you wanted the robot to do. The robot is already back testing all of that data. Good. So you can see somewhere here, the robot the testing phase has been running for almost 1 minute. You can see that this is where you actually know if the robot is testing or not. And if you want to see the testing bar, this is where you actually see the bar. You can see we are somewhere here, and this bar has to move from here to here. All right. So we're just going to give you some time. And on this particular chart, the chart you are seeing here, this is where you are able to see the magic that is happening. You can see this line stands for where we started. We started at $5,000. This particular blue line, right? And the green line represents the equity. The equity, you know what is equity and you know what is your balance. The equity is your floating profit or loss plus your account balance. Remember, we started at $5,000 and already somewhere here the equity is on what? The equity is already up on $33,000. All right, the equity is already up on $33,000. So let's wait and see. Let's just be patient and see how it's going to turn out. All right, let's just be patient and see how it's going to turn out. Let's see. Remember, we're testing from the 20th of December to the 6th of January. That is almost about 3 weeks of data. So let's see how the robot will perform within that particular time frame. So you can see it's actually running. The robot is actually running. Remember, we are actually using a greater portion of our CPU. So we need to give the robot some time to actually process. So all the data is processing on the background. Remember, we are testing from the 20th of December to the 6th of January. That is almost about 3 weeks of data. And we are using what? We are using the 5-minute time frame. So remember, in between from the 20th of December to the 6th of January, how many 5-minute candles we can have, all right? So it's going to be a very tedious process for the robot to process all those candles to open and close. But everything is happening on the background. We're just going to wait to see. And if you can come on our graph, you can see this particular blue line represents our account balance. We started at what? $5,000. And look at our equity, guys. Look at our equity. Our equity is on $85,000. Our equity is on $85,000. So let's see what our equity is going to be by the end of the day. Good. We are almost about 50% gone in the backtesting process. So let's wait and see. You can see we are almost about 14 minutes. If you check here, you see we are almost about 14 minutes into the testing phase, almost about 14 minutes. And we are almost about 80% done. We are almost about 80% done. And our equity is almost about $150,000 up from 5,000. So let's see, guys. Let's keep testing and see. Let's wait for it to complete so that we can go through the historical data to see how many trades we were able to take, the highest days that we were able to make money, the highest day the robot performed very well, the highest volume we would have used, and everything. So as soon as the process is done, we're going to go through all those particular data, all right? So I'm just waiting for it to be complete. We have just about 3 minutes for the whole process to be done. Remember, when you are backtesting, the robot is going to take a greater portion of your CPU, all right, of your CPU. So make sure you have a good computer for backtesting so that your computer doesn't freeze. If my computer wasn't good, trust me, it would have been frozen by now because this thing is actually using a greater portion of my CPU. So let me just wait and see. I just have about 2 minutes for it to be completed. We are almost about 90% completion because see, the robot, the testing phase, the backtesting phase has been running for 16 minutes. Remember, we are testing the 5-minute time frame, and we are testing what? How many? We are testing 3 weeks of data. 3 weeks of data, and we are testing the 5-minute time frame. So within 1 day, how many 5 minutes do you have in 1 day? So the robot is testing all those 5 minutes, and not only in days, we are testing it for about 3 weeks, from the 20th of December to the 7th of January 2022. That is why it's taking a little bit longer, because now the backtesting phase has been running for almost 17 minutes, but we are almost done. You can see this green point is here, and so long as we are here, the process will be done. So, and our equity, our balance is, remember, we haven't closed any trade. All the trades are still open. So long as the robot keep buying and going up, all the trades are still open. Even the one the robot opened on the 20th of December is still open to now, because we are almost on the 5th of January. We are on the 5th of January going up, and the robot, the trades that were open right from the 20th of December, they are still open to now. That is why you see our equity, our balance is still at 5,000, because we haven't closed any trade. So our balance is still at 5,000. And fortunately, the market has been going in our favor, meaning the robot has been buying. And right now, our equity is on what? On $211,000. That is our equity as we speak. So let's wait and see how it goes, guys. Let's see how it goes. But from the way the graph is showing, guys, we would have already become millionaires by now. From the way the graph is showing, remember our equity is still on 5,000, our balance is still on 5,000, and the equity is up on above $200,000. Above $200,000. This is insane. This is totally crazy. But even if you have to cash one or two of this kind of moves within a year, trust me guys, if you have to cash just one or two of this kind of moves within a year, you will still be making money. You will still be a millionaire, right? Good, 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 good. Guys, you can see, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. That is the graph on our screen. I think I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Let me make it a little bit big so that you guys can see. That is the graph of the testing phase on our screen. And down here, you can see what I call the deposit load. So you have the balance / equity. So now, I'm going to be explaining. I want us to go through. See, guys, we have everything here. We'll be able to see how much we made and how much we lose, everything. So I want us to go through all of these factors step by step so that I can explain some of these things to you guys. This is the graph right here. This graph explains everything that happens within when we're actually testing the robot, right? This is where everything is explained. And if I have to check here, you can see the graph runs from the 20th of January to the 20th of December to the 7th of January. And this green line represents, the blue line you are seeing here represents our balance. We started at $5,000 and the balance was constant because we were not closing the trade. All the trades were open to the last day where we closed all the trade, all right? Good. So the only thing that was fluctuating was our equity. You guys already know what is equity. Equity is just your balance plus the floating profit or loss. So our floating profit or loss plus our equity, that is the only thing that was fluctuating. And you can see we went from $5,000, the equity jumped up to $35,000, went up to almost about $59,000, went up to $89,000, even up to almost at this level at $169,000. The equity was even at $291,000 at a point. And by the time the market closed, the market closed and the balance was what? The balance was $265,000. From $5,000 to $265,000. So that is the chart there. That I'm just explaining everything from the chart. This one is what we call the balance / equity chart. And down here you can see what we call the load, the deposit load. If there was any time, if we were actually using a robot that within that particular period, we are closing and we are opening and closing trade, we're having winners and losers. Then anytime we have a loser, you see this histogram. There will be another bar of the histogram. This thing is called a histogram, right? So by the time we have a loss, you would have seen another bar of the histogram below, on the below line of the curve. So anytime you have a loss, you will see another line of the histogram below. But throughout the entire backtesting, our equity was on a positive curve. That's why you see we don't have any negative histogram bar. This is where I want you guys to see the magic. See this, guys. Are you guys ready for this? Look at this screen. This is where you will see everything. Everything will be open to your eyes. See this screen, guys. On this screen, this is where everything happens. This is where you see everything. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. I'm going to explain everything step by step to you guys. Step by step. This is why I like backtesting my robot, because it is so interesting and so fascinating to see how some of these robots that you've spent years upon years trying to create can actually do in your live account. Good. See, we started with what? Historical quantity, 93%. 93%, meaning our testing was done on almost all the time frame, which that means we wanted the robot to test from the 20th of December to the 7th of January. But the robot stopped testing on the 5th of January because the 6th and the 7th of January was a weekend. That is why here you have 93% testing, because some days the robot didn't test because it was a weekend. The market is closed on weekends. Good. So how many bars? How many bars? Meaning how many bars just represent how many bars or how many trades the robot opened. Within that period, the robot was opening trade. How many bars do we have? We had 3,646 bars, right? Initial deposit, $5,000. Total net profit, you can see. Guys, see this. Total net profit, $257,544. $257,544. That is the net profit. Then gross profit. Gross profit is just, what is gross profit? Our gross profit, you obviously just, is a total, is everything we made including our account balance. Then gross loss, the only thing we lost was $181. That was the only thing we lost. Because remember, from the first to the last, all the trades were still open to the last day where we closed the trade. And by that day, the only thing we lost was what? $181. Profit factor, that is that. Recovery factor, you can see. So every other thing you want to check, you can see. Total number of trade, total number of trade. We took a total of, see this guys, see this. We took a total of 1,779 trades. Remember, we're using the 5-minute time frame. So from the 20th of December to the 5th of January, every day the robot was trading. And within that time period, the 5-minute time frame, because if the market was going up, the bullish 5-minute candles that the robots opened the trades, there were 1,779 candles or 1,779 trades. So those are the number of trades that the robot opened within that time frame. Good. Come down. You can see. You can still start checking. You can start checking from down. You can see balance drawdown. Everything is there. Everything, you can read all of this. Even if you are somebody who is who is like actually a mathematician or a genius, you can see there's something we call RO correlation. So what was the correlation coefficient? You can still check your correlation. I even have a strategy that is based all on the correlation coefficient, but don't bother yourself about that for now. Then RO standard error, we have our standard error right there. So you can even know the number of short trade, the number of short trade you took, the number of long trade you took, and all that. Then the maximum long trade or the maximum per trade, profit trade of total. Let me see, consecutive wins. So consecutive wins, there were how many consecutive wins? 1,997. That is why I said all the trades that were open from the first of the test, from the moment we start testing to now, they were still on. That is why here you can see consecutive wins. We have 1,997 trades that were all winners. That is giving us what? Giving us a percentage. If we have to check in terms of percentage, that's almost like about 98% win rate. All right, that is about 98% win rate. So guys, you can see that is everything very, very clear. We started with $5,000, and we started with $5,000 on the 20th of December, and by the 5th of January, we were having $257,000. And the robot, this one was completely automated. It was done by the robot. There was no human factor, and the robot was opening and closing the trade using the money management that I put in place to manage the money, using the risk management that I programmed to manage the money and to manage the risks, and everything was done by the robot. If we come down, you can even check entries by hours. You have the Asian hours, the Europe hours, and the USA hours. You can see most of the trades that were performed. Most of the profit that were being made during the London section, right? And then the days that made, you can even see the days that made a lot of money. The highest money was made on Tuesday and Wednesdays. You can see the highest money was made on Tuesday, Wednesday, then followed by Monday, Thursday, and the least was made on Friday. You can see those are the highest days. Then everything is still showing there. Then even the months, the highest money was made in December. The highest money was made in December because most of the trades were open in December. So let's just assume you did backtesting for almost about 12 months. Then here you're going to be able to see all the months to know which month performed very well, which month made the highest number of profit, which month didn't perform so well, and all that. And then down here we can see our correlation factor. Don't worry about that. We can see, we can even see the minimum position holding time. You can even know. So the most important thing you need to focus is this historical quantity, this section here, this section where you've seen all these figures plus this bar plus this simple graphs. Then after that, you just come here, you see your graph to see how the growth, to see and appreciate the growth. Because there was even a time our equity was on 166,000. It came back down to almost about 97,000. And from 97,000, boom, it picked up again and it starts going up. So the graph, you just need to come on the graph and on the section where it says backtest, and you deduce most of your analysis, and you see how the robot performed on the backtesting area. So now guys, you guys have been able to see, we just backtested this for over 3 weeks of data, and you guys can see, meaning if we're actually within this period, if we're actually in a live account, if the robot was actually in a live account, we would have made the same money. All right, now what are some conclusions we can make from here? In your own free time, after doing this, now you can come back now. You can come back to input, you change the input, you go back to your MT4, you do to your MT5, you do different analysis, you look for different pairs, you look for situations where the robot will instead be selling. Instead of buying, the robot should only be selling, right? So you do your analysis, you look for those scenarios where the robot will instead be selling, then you come here, you change even the lot size. Instead of using 0.05, you can try to use 0.1. Instead of using the maximum spread filter of 5, you can put 10. So you try to change the parameters to see how the robot will perform, so that you'll be able to come up with an optimal parameter settings that you can use for your robot. You can even change the time. Instead of leaving the robot open from 12 midnight to 10 p.m., you can maybe you can even come here and change the time, and you want the robot to be trading from maybe 3 a.m. to maybe 9 p.m. or maybe 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So just try to test different parameters based on what you are actually looking for, based on your objectives, and your goal. Try to change the parameters, try to change different figures, try to change most of this, so that by the end of the day, you'll be able to have an optimal parameter settings that you can use for your robot. All right, good. So that is just that we've just done our simple testing on this particular one, on this particular currency pair, and you guys can see. So the people on my Patreon, take your time. You can use, there are some times only for back testing. I used to use 2 days. I'll do back testing, write a lot of things, take note, then I rest. The following day I come and only back testing. So do back testing, change the figures as you want, play around with these figures to look for an optimal setting that you can use. Even if you're not talking about this robot, that is the same strategy you use for any particular robot that you are talking about. All right. Now I'm talking about this particular robot. After our back testing, let me just minimize this so that you guys can see. You guys can be able to see. Let me minimize this to the bottom. So what you are seeing here, you can see all these marks that you are seeing here. That was the robot opening and closing. That was the robot opening and closing the trade, opening and closing the trade, opening and closing the trade. That's why you are seeing all this line. So after our back testing, what are some of the conclusions that we are able to deduce from this particular robot? What are some of the conclusions? So let's go to some of the conclusions that we have. Conclusions now, the first conclusion that we have on our list, the distance between the mega support and the mega resistance must be between 150 to 400 pips. All right. So after doing your analysis, if you have to go back and do your analysis, this is what I'm talking about. Let me show you guys. If you have to go back, let me put back our navigator on this particular section, and where's Great Britain pound JPY? Good, I have Great Britain pound. So the analysis, after doing your analysis, the distance between your support and resistance must be at least $150 pips to 400 pips. If I have to draw this, our distance here was almost about 500 pips, and I just let the trade open. So you should be able to have a goal. Maybe you want the account, you want to make five times your account. You want to make, maybe you want to double your account maybe 5 times. You want to double your account even 10 times. You want to double your account depending on the goals you have. All right. So depending on the goal you have, and then another thing you have to also another conclusion from this back testing. I've still concluded that okay, you need to be able to do your research. You need to be able to do your analysis manually. That is where a human will actually come into play, to do the analysis manually, to come up with your support, what I call the killer support and resistance. Then what the robot will do is you step down to the lower time frame, and the robot will be able to execute the trade on the lower time frame. Then another thing you also do is, what is the lot size? Another conclusion I was also able to deduce from this back testing is that the lot size will just be my total account balance divided by 100,000 unit. Simple. So after testing this robot, remember this is the robot I've also been using for almost 2 years. I wanted to recreate the robot from scratch so that you guys can see the process. But even if it was not this robot, the optimal settings, the optimal lot size that I've seen that is the best. I just take my account balance, I divide by 100,000 unit of the base currency. So if you're having $1,000, divide $1,000 by 100,000. So your lot size you'll be using will be 0.01. So you'll be using a mini lot. You'll be using a micro lot. Sorry, you'll be using a micro lot on a $1,000 account. And if you're having a $10,000 account, you just divide that $10,000 by $100,000. So you'll be using 0.1 on a $10,000 account. All right, you'll be using 0.1 on a $10,000 account, and so on. Even if you are using, and then still with this particular, from my back testing, I've seen that the minimum account balance that you need to be able to use this strategy is $1,000. All right, the minimum account balance that you need so that the robot can be able to perform with a good leverage. Because remember, we are using leverage, and the minimum account balance you need for this robot to perform at its optimum is at least $1,000. Do your back testing with different account balances. Do your back testing with different balances, but the optimum, I'm talking about the optimum account balance that you need for this robot to perform very well is at least $1,000. So starting with $1,000 is a good start, and then you just divide your $1,000 by 100,000 and you have 0.01. So the lot size you'll be using will be 0.01. Another conclusion which we also had, you need at least 1,000. We've already mentioned that. Then if the trade goes my way, remember on this strategy, I've already accepted the fact that in Forex trading, no matter where you are, no matter where you stay, you must encounter some losses, right? You must encounter some losses. That is the first thing that you need to accept as a Forex trader. And once you've already accepted that, you only build a mechanism behind that acceptance to be able to encounter that. I have already accepted that I'm going to be able to encounter some losses. So, okay, since I've already accepted that I'm going to encounter some losses, what about my winners? How big are my winners going to be? How big are my winners going to be so that they can bulldoze those small losers, all right? So I've already accepted. So with this strategy, with this particular robot, after backtesting, I've been able to come up with the conclusion that, okay, if I'm starting with the $1,000 account, if I'm starting with a $1,000 account and I'm using 0.01 and I'm trying to pick at my support to go to the resistance or pick from the resistance to come to the support, I'm very, very prepared to say, okay, if the market doesn't go my way, I'm ready to lose. I'm ready to risk. I can afford to lose that $1,000. You understand? I've already accepted. So I'm only risking what I can afford to lose. I'm only risking what I can afford to lose. I have already accepted that if the market doesn't go my way, if I'm predicting that the market will move from the support to resistance and instead it is going down, then I'll accept the fact that my account balance might be blown up because I'm using high leverage and the robot is still going to be opening trade, all right? But this is where this is the sweet part of it, all right? But if the market goes my way, then by the time the market is moving from my support to my resistance, there's a potential I can make between 5 to 10 times my account balance. Full stop. So I have already accepted that if the market doesn't go my way, then I can afford to lose $1,000. What if the market goes my way? This is the juicy part of the whole strategy. This is the juicy part of the robot. If the market goes my way, then by the time the market is moving from support to my resistance, there are chances that I can make between 5 to 10x. 5 to 10x of my account balance. 5 to 10x of my account balance. Meaning if the market has to go my way, by the time the market is moving from support to the resistance, if I'm taking support to resistance as an example, by the time the robot keeps buying from the support and by the time the robot is getting to the resistance, there is a potential that my account balance must have grown by 5x or 10x. 5x or 10x, meaning if I was having $1,000, I'll be sitting on $5,000. If I was having $1,000, I'll be sitting on $10,000. There have been situations where a robot has grown, this particular robot has grown my account balance by 20x. It's possible. It's possible. Guys, do the back testing and you'll be able to see. On the example I've shown you guys, you saw the robot grew the account by almost about 100x, all right? Almost about 100x. It's not going to be ideal. It's not going to be ideal like that every day. It's not going to be ideal like that even every year. You might have those kind of opportunity maybe once a year, but in maybe very ideal situation or in optimum situation or normal situations, it is very common for the robot to produce 5x or 10x, 5x or 10x. So even if I place that trade and it doesn't go my way, I'm comfortable to lose 1,000. I can afford to lose $1,000 because I know that, okay, if I place the next one, if I do my analysis on the next currency pair and the trade goes my way, then I'm going to be able to make $5,000. I'm going to be able to make $10,000. And when I make those, when I'm actually able to make that $10,000, I'll just remove that other $1,000 that I lose and I put in that particular account. I'm still up green. I'm still green with $9,000. Or even if the robot was just able to make 5x of my account balance, I'll still be able to remove $1,000. I put in that other $1,000 that I already lose, and I'll still be up with plus $4,000. At the end of the day, I'm still millionaire. At the end of the day, I'm still making money. Even though I've already blown some accounts, even though I've already lost thousands upon thousands of dollars. But at the end of the day, I am still making money. So you guys, you can see how sweet it is when you're able to know what you are doing, when you're able to know how the market performs, when you're able to develop your own algorithms that can be able to mimic the idea behind the performance of the market, because you won't see this particular robot anywhere. If you see it anywhere, guys, let me know and I'll be able to take down this video. I'll be able to stop using the robot. You won't see this idea anywhere on YouTube, anywhere on Google. All my robots, almost about 8 different robots that I use every day to trade, they are custom-made robots. They are personal robots that I sat on my MT5. I did my analysis. I was like, okay, if I keep buying here, if I keep selling here, what will happen? If I do here. Before, I had almost about 7 robots that are actually working. I've developed more than 25 different robots that didn't work. All right. Before the light bulb was produced, the light bulb which you use in your, before the light bulb was produced, I think Thomas Edison or whosoever produced the light bulb tried almost about 1,000 times and failed. The same thing, I tried almost about 50 times before I could come out with some few robots that are actually performing. So, with that being said, we've come to the end of our series on creating Forex robot. We've come to this particular series, and by this point, you should already know how to create your own robot. So you can go back and watch all the 3 videos so that you can be able to know how to create your robot, how to develop that robot, how to test that robot, how to backtest that robot, and how to even tell if that robot can perform in a real market condition. If you want to be able to hear from me one-on-one, because the people in my Patreon will have this same robot, Patrex Pro Plus, the people in my Patreon will have the same robot. So check the link on the video description so that you can join me in Patreon. And when you join me in Patreon, you'll be able to have access to this particular robot so that you can test it on your own to see if you can be able to use it on your live account. Because there's a disclaimer, if you don't know what you are doing, it can blow your account. The fact that it is working for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You need to be able to follow the steps meticulously and religiously and know what you are doing. So the people in my Patreon are going to be able to have this particular robot. So check the link below to join me on my Patreon. And if you want to use a Forex broker that will enable you to use your robot without any restrictions, then also check the link below to use the best Forex broker that will enable you to use your robot. Check me out on Instagram. Also check out my free Telegram channel. Make sure you smash the like button on the video, guys. Please. This is almost about 3 to 4 hours of content only on creating your own Forex robot. So please show me an appreciation by just smashing the like button on the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do smash the subscribe button below to subscribe to the channel. And watch this other video, which I'm going to leave a link here. Go over here and watch this other video, which is all related to robots. And I'll see you guys on this other video. Peace.